we keep limiting God. Like, first of all, just because something, we're very limited in what we know what good is. Good is only what we have been exposed to. Suppose there's something you've never seen. Suppose it's something that your eyes never seen, your ears haven't heard, and it hasn't entered your heart. Suppose, right? It doesn't make it less good. It just means you don't know it. And I think that's what God is doing when He's placing, aligning, people together. It might not be what you think. It might not be who you think. It might not be something that you've imagined. Someone who you might not be that ideal of your mind, but it's beyond. It's beyond. It's what you've never been exposed to. It's what you've never. Think about it like this: Abraham, who represented God, I believe, was, because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they were all covenant people. Okay, so with covenant people, really all Christians, but with covenant people, you can't just be marrying anybody. And Abraham was like, my son Isaac will not marry any of these women in Canaan. So he arranged for a servant to go and seek the woman in his hometown. And that was a divine thing. That was of the Lord. That was the Lord who put that in Abraham. Again, they were covenant people. Abraham knew who he was in the Lord. He knew, and he made sure that his son, Isaac, would come to know. And so, Isaac could not marry any woman in his, in where they lived. But he probably saw many beautiful women, many women that seemed suitable, who probably served him up and down and all that. Who knows? I don't know, but I'm just saying, I'm sure, And so there was an appointed time. Again, the first thing is that Isaac was not the youngest man. I mean, he wasn't old, but he wasn't young. He was about, So there was an appointed time for Isaac to get married. Not only that, there was an appointed situation for Isaac to get married. Isaac could not just marry anybody. So I think with a lot of God's people that have been waiting longer than, average, if you will, suppose, can't just marry anybody. Your destiny depends on it. It depends on it. It's that important, right? And so for that, there's instructions, there's specific instructions. It's like, okay. Abraham's like, yeah, my son can't marry none of these women here, but send my servant out to go and find this woman. Now, of course, see, the Lord is not going to just reveal and be like, it's going to be this woman, her name is going to be Rebecca, she's going to look like this, she's going to be wearing this, so tell her to come with me. No, the way the Lord does it is it's through the Spirit. And the Spirit reveals through our character and through in ways. So Rebecca's act of kindness was a test that she passed. It wasn't just her being nice because she's trying to be married. That was who she is. She didn't know. That's why, think about it. God could have sent Isaac. And clearly Isaac was a handsome man, because when she saw that man, but I don't want to get there yet. So what I'm saying is that she did it not knowing what was going to come with it. She had no way of knowing, and it was designed that way. Just like she didn't know, the servant didn't know. Just like the servant didn't know, Abraham didn't know, Isaac didn't know. Nobody knew who she was going to be, but the Lord already had that. That was a divine appointment. The well, when they met at the well, that represents a divine appointment by the Most High God. God was surely behind it. The Spirit of the Lord was operating through Rebecca, through her virtue. I'm kind, regardless. I'm not just doing this for no man. I'm not just doing it so all the women in the village could see that I'm Miss Good Girl and Righteous, and all the men in the village could see me as a suitable helper. No, she just was doing it for this servant man who, you know what I mean? Yeah, so long story short, Rebecca, she passed the test. That was who she truly was. She had no knowing that she was about to go and meet her husband. And he was even up until the point that when she goes back, and I love that part. I think it's such an underrated part where she's approaching, now she's with the servant, Abraham's servant, and she goes and she sees, she's on a camel or whatever, and she sees and she asks, who is that man? So even her eye, like, so she chose Isaac. Like, I don't know how to explain it, y'all. But look at how, look, I'm messing up my hair. It's a mess. But it's like she saw Isaac and she liked what she saw. And Isaac saw her and he liked what he saw. And it wasn't just about the physical, it was spirit to spirit. It was a spiritual attraction. That's what that was. I'm sure the outside was obviously, like they were attracted to each other, but it was a spirit to spirit attraction. God knew what he was doing when he put that together. So why do we think that God isn't doing that today, right? I'm not saying everybody has like an Isaac and Rebecca story. Some people have the Ruth and Boaz story. I think I love Ruth and Boaz story. Some people, perhaps the Lord has your own story. It doesn't always have to be compared to anybody, but these stories are in there for a reason though. And so when the time is right, again, perfect timing, perfect place. Women, virtue.